All right, everybody. I've got 5 o'clock. I'm going to call the special meeting of the Common Council to order. We'll start with roll call, please.
Seth,
Here.
Andrew,
Here.
Todd Kirking,
Here.
Emma will not be here, Todd Spaeth, Cindy will not be here, John,
Here.
Crystal will not be here, and Steve.
Here.
All right. Item number 2 is approval of April 8th, 2025 regular council minutes.
This is Todd. Will approve the minutes.
Steve, I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So I'm bad at item number 3. Item number 3 is adjournment, sign, die, and we just need a motion to do that, right?
This is Steve. I make a motion that we adjournment sign die.
John, I'll second.
Roll call then. Or, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right. So now we're adjourned and we're gonna do oath of office.
Okay, follow those that are taking the oath of office tonight, which would be Seth, Todd Kirking, Todd Spaeth, John Thompson, and Steve Willis. If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Steve Willis,
Having been elected to the office of
having been
Elected to the office of
alderperson in your ward,
Alderperson, Ward 1,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof.
swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of said office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, everybody. And if you would sign your oath and return it to me, I'd appreciate it.
Good catch.
John, might I borrow your pen?
Like your receiver there.
Thank you.
It's a fancy guy. How do you get
You.
stuff clear that?
I've been a doctor since I was 12.
Yes. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ava thinks so too. It's like, how do you do this?
Right. All right. We will go ahead and let's see, it's 5:03. We will call the meeting back to order. Roll call.
Seth,
Here.
Andrew,
Here.
Kirking,
Here.
Emma's not here, Todd Spaeth,
Here.
Cindy is not here, John,
Here.
Crystal is not here, and Steve.
Here.
All right. Item number 2, first period for public comment. Anybody online? No? All right. We'll move on to item number 3, which is election of council president. And how we do that is we take a motion or a nomination.
Take a nomination and then we have a second to the nomination.
Yep.
I nominate Steve Wilson. I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any other nominations? I have to say that 3 times. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed. And then, sorry, you think I've never done this before. All right, so we've got a motion and a second to appoint Steve Willis as council president. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, congratulations, Steve.
Congrats, Steve.
Yeah, who's that guy?
Did I say it wrong?
No, it's all right. Same guy.
Same guy. All right. So
My ears heard the right thing.
right. All right. Item number 4, council rules and approval of amendments. So go ahead, Nate.
So, Lori sent out a copy of the council rules ahead of time. First, I would ask the council if there is any rules or amendments to rules that they would like to offer up for discussion first. after that, the mayor and I and Lori did have one suggestion or recommendation for an amendment, but before we jump into that, I want to see if anybody else around the table has something that they would like to suggest, talk about, ask a question about otherwise.
And it is okay to have some suggestions or
Yes,
thoughts. Like, I
absolutely.
mean, that's what this is for, because this is our one shot usually, right? Every year to do this. So if anybody has,
And you can change it throughout the year. It's just the one time that you usually should look
Right.
them over to make sure that things haven't
Right.
changed.
none?
So far, so good.
Okay. Can you, sorry, Ted.
On the number 2 there, it says at 7 o'clock in the evening,
Right.
except for,
Hmm.
yeah. And I don't think that ever got changed to 6:30.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is on mine.
Cindy's not here, so I thought I'd point that out.
This one says 6:30.
Yeah,
Oh, it does.
so, and
Okay.
what had happened, and
I
that's
thought I
probably
remember-
accurate.
I thought I remember seeing,
What had happened is I didn't have the Word document when we made the update to 2024 from 2023. And so I took the 2023 Word document I had, just spot checked it against what was in 24 and just made the quick changes because I knew there wasn't that much. And so I missed the 6:30. So yes, that is already in effect. It just on my copy wasn't. Okay, so that's actually not a change. That's where it's at. And I don't know if there's anywhere else in that document where it refers to a 6:30 timeframe, but I think that's it.
Anything else? All right.
Okay. So with that, the one item I would bring up is the one regarding virtual participation. For just a reminder, virtual participation, of course, came around during the pandemic. It was a necessity at that point since we had suspended in-person meetings. And at that time, we had worked with our city attorneys on making sure that we were doing it in a way that was legal and in accordance with our code. So we amended our council rules really quick. And over the course of time, things have evolved and we've continued to use virtual options for our meeting. And I thought it was just an appropriate time for us to come back and look at these and make sure it's still what we want to do. And we took this amendment, and I'll kind of walk through in a second, but we also had the attorneys look at it simply to say like, hey, are we still in alignment with what best practices are for council meetings and the use of virtual participation? And so what is up there, regardless if it's blue or red, are the amendments, right? So essentially what is adding now is that in-person participation is highly preferred. This is the way a lot of communities are doing it. That virtual option is great, but deliberations, discussions are much more effective when we're all in person together. The public can see us. It just makes for a better democracy, right? The privilege of attending meetings virtually should be used sparingly and for compelling reasons. We didn't go so far as to outline what is a compelling reason or what isn't, but it should be noted that simply attending virtually because it's convenient is not a compelling reason, right? If you're sick, if you're in the other state because you're on vacation, hopefully if you're on vacation, you're taking your vacation, but let's say you're in Barbados, but you really, really want to attend a meeting, yes, that would be a compelling reason for you to attend virtually. And so on and so forth, extenuating circumstances and things like that. Members participating virtually shall be counted. That is the same language. And then we also want, this is something that was key from the lawyers, shall have their camera turned on for the entire meeting. While attending a closed session virtually, members shall safeguard the confidential and privileged nature of the closed session, including but not limited to ensuring that the audio and video of the closed session may not be seen or heard by persons not included by the governmental body in closed session. So again, that's just, I think we understand the reasons that those are there. And again, by having your video on, we can see you, we can see that you're engaged. Usually what I like to do is put sort of the little bubble of the screen up in the corner here so that the people in the audience here know who's talking when they talk. And I just think it's helpful to really be conducive to the meeting. So with that, that's really the long and short of the amendments that I guess I would recommend this group adopt. I know I've talked with the mayor about it, and I think you're generally in favor of that, and the city attorneys as well.
Yeah. When we did talk too, we talked about the fact, this particular amendment came up, or this particular rule came up really fast. And I think a lot of governments didn't have a real good opportunity to get a very encompassing option and get it out there, because prior to the pandemic, that wasn't an allowable thing, right? So, but I think, we're far enough past it that I think Nate's point is exactly right, that having a little bit more explanation or expectation of it, I think is fair. And then, to his point, we looked at some other ones, and there's some that are just pretty crazy in the, like very detailed, very in depth. I think this gives a little bit of freedom and some liberty to be flexible. But I think it hits the points. So thoughts from the group?
Sounds fair to me. I agree that having been on, the virtual meetings for a long time and then being in person, it seems like discussion is always better
Mhm.
when everybody's in the same room.
So
I would move we accept the changes in the bylaw in the rules of the council.
Todd, I'll second it.
all right, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
So just really quick, and I know a couple of our council members, AJ, Seth specifically, yeah, he's like, I'm here. So I know you folks are traveling, you have jobs in La Crosse, West Salem area, and you're trying to make it to the committee meetings. So far, these council rules don't apply to the committees, although it does say alderpersons and citizen members of governmental bodies, which to me would insinuate that it does apply to committees. However, I think the way we're looking at it is that committees sort of can adjust their own rules. And again, I think coming from work and trying to get here and be in attendance, I think that's understandable.
Right.
Concerns on being on video while in transit. You know what I mean? I think I think that's part of it too. I don't know you're not looking at the screen's looking at you. So I don't know what our public safety, we don't have our public safety officials here, but I don't know what the rules of the road are as far as being on FaceTime while driving a car.
I would assume somebody coming from work could make the case that, like, hey, I am coming from work. I'm alone in the car. I am going to have my video off, so it's not a distraction. I think in that particular instance, it's a reasonable thing, because even though you say it's supposed to be off, like, you still might be like glancing at, I don't know. But I think those are, and I'm glad you brought that up. I think needs to be noted that those are,
And
reasonable.
I think typically for you guys, the issue is making it to the 5 o'clock committee meeting because it is so close to checkout time for you. Whereas we felt like, hey, if it's a council meeting, we know when they're at. We sort of felt like you can make accommodations to make sure you leave work with enough time to be here in person for the council meetings at 6:30. So we did think about everybody's like particular personal situation and try to make sure that we weren't cutting anybody out because they had commitments other places. And so I just wanted to point that out for you guys. And so, and sort of highlight that question. And same goes for everybody. I don't mean to like highlight you two, but those are, I guess, two good examples that we knew were frequent.
Anything else? Any other discussion? If not, I think we need a motion. We do have a motion. See, there we go. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Where am I at here? Item number 5, designation of official city newspaper.
So our one and only newspaper in the city here is the Vernon Times. So
So we need a motion.
we need a motion.
I move to keep the official city newspaper as is.
Steve, I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Designation of depositories for city funds.
Okay, all of these are the same. I did add our latest one. So we have Royal Bank, People's State Bank, Citizens First Bank, Associated Bank, the Viroqua branch of the Westby Credit Union, the Local Government Investment Fund, and then I added the Pershing Advisor Solutions. That's our Ellers investment partners that we're using with the fire department funds. So putting that in with the official depositories, and unless you have any other ones that you wanted to add, those are the ones we're using currently.
Questions? We take a motion.
This is Steve. I make a motion, we accept the depositors accounts. Can I just say that you read? All right, thank you.
This is
Yes.
Seth. I'll second.
All right, you got a motion, and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, item number 7, mayor's appointments to council committees. Seeing as how we didn't have any new council members, I didn't make any changes to the council committees. If anybody, and I probably should have done this before right now, but I'll do it right now. If anybody has a place that they really don't want to be, now would be a time to mention that. So, but I'm really happy. I think the committees are working really good from my perspective, and I think the department heads seem to be pleased with everything, so I didn't see any reason to make any changes. So if we're good there, I will, you don't want me to read these, do you? All right, with that, I would move on to second period for public comment.
Do you want to, before you move on to that, do you want to approve those
Do we need to, yeah,
committees?
since we're not changing, sorry,
We do need to make that because
getting
we
ahead of
have,
myself, Lori.
it's a whole new council. You
Yeah.
got to look at it that way.
Got it.
Steve, I'll make a motion, we approve the assignments.
Todd will second it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now it's second period for public comment. Hearing none, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Todd will make a motion to adjourn.
Steve, I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We're adjourned. Be back at 5:30.